Hello, I'm Mitch Goldberg with ClientFirst Strategy. I am sitting here with a very dear friend and one of the best people I've ever met, Karen Signoracci Suero. And we're talking about not-for-profits because I believe that not-for-profit, charity, community involvement for business, that's the lifeline, the heart and soul of a business. And a business without a charitable or a not-for-profit component, some kind of involvement in the community is, in my opinion, a business that doesn't have a heart and soul. What do you think of that?
I agree 100%. Well said.
Thank you.
For some signposts, we turn to Mitch Goldberg.
We welcome Mitchell Goldberg.
Since we're talking about charities, we're sitting together right now at the Suffolk Y Jewish Community Center, another not-for-profit. But it seems to be a lot going on with not-for-profits, and you sent me an article that from CNBC talking about this is a record year for charitable donations.
We're always looking at numbers and trends in the nonprofit world, and an article did come out on Tuesday on CNBC saying that giving in the United States in 2015 was at $373 billion.
$373 billion, and that's a record, right?
Highest it's been in quite some time.
That's incredible. Now, let me ask you, as far as charities go, there's a lot more involved than people think. You know, people think, not everybody watching this, but a lot of people might not realize what's involved in creating a legitimate charity. There are bylaws, there are legal aspects to this. What advice do you give to somebody who is thinking about starting a charity or some kind of not-for-profit?
Well, there's two things I would really think about in relation to starting a nonprofit, and the first is how can you best accomplish your mission, and having a mission statement and what you want to be your main point of service, and how can you get people around the table to help you accomplish that mission in the best capacity. And that starts with your board of directors. They're the backbone, they're the stakeholders, the shareholders, they are an integral part of the nonprofit community. The other thing I would say, and this kind of ties into what the CNBC article said, Mitch, is when people see these numbers on giving, and $373 billion is the number that's in the article, you have to keep in mind that 2/3 of that money came from individuals. Individuals like you and me, people with families, people that have
Small dollar donations,
people that have a cause that's near and dear to their heart, and they made a personal investment in that charity. I think people really need to focus on the fact that families, individuals, everyday people in this country are giving back to charity.
Now, as far as the organizational aspects, you're a consultant in the not-for-profit world. You help set up charities, compliance. What about compliance do people need to know before they endeavor on creating their own not-for-profit?
Well, the first thing that they really need to get in order is their paperwork with the IRS. You need to be a registered 501c3. You have paperwork that needs to be filed with the IRS, and there can be some time in the span you hear back from the IRS once you've completed that paperwork. But even more importantly, you need to hire an expert or hire an accountant or a nonprofit attorney that can help you with getting all of your ducks in a row for those very first stages.
I'll wrap this up just real quick. Any really interesting tidbits of working with a charity that stands out in your mind that might not ordinarily come up in a conversation at the first meeting you'd have with a new client?
That's really an interesting question, Mitch. And
that's really open-ended. I know. We could talk about that all day.
There's two things that just pop in my mind. And while we reference money and billions being given away, I think it's also to recognize, I always hear about nonprofits that have people giving their time. People giving their time by sitting on a board, by sitting on a committee, by working in some sort of event, on a registration table, and we shouldn't diminish the importance of people giving both their time and their financial contributions. And the other thing to think about is the nonprofit community has a huge part of the workforce on the island, in the country, in New York State, and we are grateful for all they do every day.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate
Mitch.
your advice and your
terrific.
help. All right.
Thanks for your kind words, too. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.